To begin the process of planning, you take a sheet of paper and you make a list of everything that you can think of that you will have to do to achieve your goal. As you think of new items, which you will, add them to the list. Continually revisit your list and revise the items and steps as you get more information. This list then becomes your blueprint for the construction of your dream house, of your ideal goal or result. The process of planning is for you now to organize your list by priority and sequence. You organize the items on your list by priority by determining which tasks or activities are more important than other tasks or activities. You organize the items from number 1, the most important, all the way through to the least important. You then organize your list by sequence as well. In sequencing, you determine which activities need to be done before or after other activities. Often, one task cannot be accomplished until another task has been completed. Sometimes, the accomplishment of a single task can be the bottleneck or choke point in the entire process. In planning, very often the success of the plan will be determined by the achievement of a particular goal or objective within the plan. This may be the completion of construction on a new office, store, or factory. It may be the date of delivery of the first finished product or service. It may be the achievement of a particular level of sales by a specific date. It could be the hiring of a key person for an essential job. The planning process helps you to identify the vital elements of the plan and focus more of your time and attention on the most important tasks and activities that must be accomplished before success is possible. No plan is perfect the first time it is created. Most plans to accomplish something new will fail over and over again at the beginning. This is to be expected. Your ability to accept feedback and make corrections to your plans of activity is vital to your success. Keep asking, what's working and what's not working? Be more concerned with what's right rather than who's right. Remember the old saying, back to the drawing board? Whenever your plan doesn't work, relax, take a deep breath, and revisit your plan. When you have a problem, resolve to be solution-oriented. Expect difficulties as a part of the process and resolve to respond to them effectively. If you're not achieving your goals on schedule, ask, what is the problem? You can also ask, what else is the problem? Then ask, what are the solutions and what else is a solution? What can we do now? What is the next step? It seems that when you begin work on the achievement of a new goal, you immediately experience setbacks, obstacles, difficulties, and temporary failure. This is to be expected. It's normal and natural. It takes tremendous effort to launch something new and make it successful. But this is the price that you have to pay to achieve the goals that you've set for yourself. Always think on paper. Be continually making lists and sub-lists of every step in every process. Keep updating and revising your plan, making it better and better until it's perfect. Remember, planning is a skill. Because it's a skill, it is completely learnable. Your ability to think, plan, organize, and initiate action toward your goal will eventually put you in the top 10% of your field. But it takes time. One of the ways that you can think on paper is to create a project planning sheet for the accomplishment of a multitask goal. In this way, you create a visual image of your goal and the steps you need to take to achieve it. This project planning sheet can be very helpful in opening your eyes to the strengths and weaknesses of the planning process. In project planning, you write the days, weeks, or months that you think the project will require to complete across the top of the page. If it's a 12-month project or goal, you write the names of the 12 months from this month forward. This now gives you a timeline for the project. Down the left-hand column, you make a list of all the tasks that must be accomplished in proper sequence for you to achieve the ultimate goal. What will you need to start or do first and second, and so on. In the lower right-hand corner, you write clearly what your final ideal result will look like. The greater clarity you have about your desired goal, the easier it will be for you to reach it. You can now use horizontal bars to indicate the amount of time necessary from beginning to end to complete a particular task. Some of these tasks can be done simultaneously, and others will have to be done after something else is completed. Certain of these tasks are of high priority and others are of low priority. But with a project planning sheet, which you can make yourself with a sheet of paper, you can now see your entire goal laid out in front of you with great clarity. Everyone who is responsible for carrying out a part of the plan should be involved in the planning process. It's quite common to make the mistake of assuming that a particular task can be completed quickly and easily. It's often a shock to find out that something that seems simple and easy is actually going to take several weeks or months from beginning to end. A time constraint on a critical part of your plan can force you to revise your plans completely. For example, one of my managers decided to put out a newsletter to all our customers on a new development in our business. He called our commercial designer and told him he needed it by the end of the week. He was shocked to discover that a professionally written, designed, and produced newsletter would take 6 to 8 weeks to write, print, and mail, and cost more than $2,000. The project was immediately scrapped. When you start the planning process, your biggest concern should be accuracy in identifying every step necessary and the exact time required to accomplish every step in the plan. There's a time for optimism and there's a time for realism in making plans and achieving goals. You must be completely honest with yourself at every step of the planning process and never trust to luck or hope that the laws of nature will be suspended temporarily on your behalf. In the process of planning, there is usually one major problem that must be solved before any other problems can be solved. There is usually one major goal that must be achieved before any of the other goals can be achieved. There is usually one critical element in the plan that must be dealt with before any part of the plan can be successful. For example, many companies will start up with every single detail in place except for a professional sales process to bring in revenues. The company will engage in a strategic planning process, rent or lease offices, buy furniture, set up the necessary computers and equipment to produce the product or service, hire the administrative and business staff, set up the books of account, and begin advertising. But a first-class selling process has not been installed, and within a few months or even weeks, without sales revenues, the company grinds to a halt. To a large extent, this is what happened to turn the dot-com explosion into a dot-bomb collapse. What are the critical results that you must accomplish at each step of the way to achieve your final goal? How can you plan them, prioritize them, and assure that they are completed on schedule? What is your plan if things go wrong? What will you do if it takes much longer and costs much more to achieve your critical objectives on your way to your goal? What is your fallback plan? You may have heard the line, "A great life, like a great ship, should never be held by a single hope or a single rope." The good news is that the very act of planning improves and streamlines the entire process of goal achievement. The more often and more carefully you plan before you begin, the better you will get at the planning process overall. The better you get at planning, the more ideas and opportunities you will attract to plan and achieve even bigger and better things. Your ability to decide exactly what you want, write it down, make a plan, and then execute that plan is the key to personal effectiveness and high achievement. And these are learnable skills that you can master. In no time at all, you can transform your life or business, double your sales or profitability, achieve your goals, and fulfill your true potential. Now, here are 3 things you can do immediately to put these ideas into action. First, make a list of everything that you can think of that you will have to do to achieve your goal. Leave nothing out. Second, organize your list by priority. What is the most important task or activity? What is the second most important, and so on. And third, organize your list by sequence. What must be done before something else can be done? Revisit and revise your plan regularly, especially when you get new information or things are not going as you had expected. be prepared to change if you need to. To achieve all your goals and become everything you are capable of becoming, you must get your time under control. Psychologists generally agree that a sense of control is the key to feelings of happiness, confidence, power, and personal well-being. And a sense of control is only possible when you practice excellent time management skills. The good news is that time management is a skill, and like any other skill, it is learnable. No matter how disorganized you have been in the past or how much you have tended to procrastinate or get caught up in low-value activities, you can change. You can become one of the most efficient, effective, and productive people in your field by learning how others have gone from confusion to clarity and from frustration to focus. Through repetition and practice, you can become one of the most result-oriented people in your field. If the front side of the coin of success is the ability to set clear goals for yourself, then the flip side of the coin is the ability to get yourself organized and working on your most valuable tasks every minute of every day. Your choices and decisions have combined to create your entire life to this moment. To change or improve your life in any way, you have to make new choices and new decisions that are more in alignment with who you really are and what you really want. The starting point of time management is for you to determine your goals and then to organize your goals by priority and value. You need to be absolutely clear at any given moment exactly what is most important to you at that time. At one moment, your goal could be a business, financial, or career goal. Later, it could be a family or relationship goal. On still another occasion, it could be a health or fitness goal. In each case, you must be like a sniper, rifling in on your highest priority at the moment, rather than like a machine gunner shooting off randomly by attempting to do too many things at the same time. The metaphysician and philosopher Peter Uspensky was once asked by a student, "How do I know what is the right thing for me to do?" Uspensky replied, "If you tell me your aim, I can tell you what is the right thing for you to do." This is an important parable. The only way that you can determine what is right or wrong, more or less important, having higher or lower priority, is by first determining your aim or goal at that particular moment. From that point forward, you can divide all of your activities into A activities or B activities. An A activity is something that moves you towards your goal. The faster and more directly, the better. A B activity is an activity that does not move you toward a goal that is important to you at the moment. In Gallup interviews of thousands of men and women to determine the root causes of success in life and work, the importance of intelligence was mentioned again and again. But when the researchers pressed for the definition of intelligence, they received an interesting answer. Intelligence was not defined as IQ or grades in school. Rather, intelligence was most commonly defined as a way of acting. In other words, if you act intelligently, you are intelligent. If you act unintelligently, you are unintelligent, irrespective of the grades you may have received or the degrees that you have earned. And what then, by definition, is an intelligent way of acting? Well, an intelligent way of acting is anything that you do that is consistent with achieving the goals that you have set for yourself. Each time that you do something that moves you closer towards something that you really want, you're acting intelligently. On the other hand, an unintelligent way of acting is doing things that are not moving you towards your goals, or even worse, moving you away from your goals. Time management begins with clarity. You take the time to sit down with a piece of paper and think through exactly what it is you want to accomplish in each area of your life. You decide upon your ultimate long-term goals of financial success, family success, or personal health and fitness. Once you're clear about the targets you're aiming at, you then come back to the present and plan every minute and hour of every day so that you accomplish the very most that you possibly can with the time allotted to you. The basic tool of time management is a list, organized by priority and used as a constant tool for personal management. The fact is that you can't manage time, you can only manage yourself. That's why time management requires self-discipline, self-control, and self-mastery. Time management requires that you make the best choices and decisions necessary to enhance the quality of your life and work, and then you follow through on your decisions. You should plan your life with lists of long-term, medium-term, and short-term goals and projects. You should plan every month in advance with a list of the things you want to accomplish during that month. You should make a list of every step in each multitask job that you want to complete, and then organize that list by priority and sequence. Begin today to plan every week in advance, preferably the Sunday before. Plan every day in advance, preferably the night before. When you make a list of everything you have to do for the following day, your subconscious mind works on that list all night long. When you wake up in the morning, you will often have ideas and insights to help you accomplish the items on your list. By writing out your plans, you will activate the law of attraction. You will begin attracting into your life people, opportunities, and resources that you need to achieve your goals and complete your tasks the very best way possible. In the process of managing your time, you must separate the urgent from the important. Urgent tasks are defined as tasks that are in your face. They are determined by external pressures and requirements. They are things that you must do immediately, right now. Most people spend most of their days responding and reacting to urgent tasks in the form of telephone calls, interruptions, emergencies, appointments, and the demands of your boss and your customers. Important tasks, on the other hand, are those tasks that can contribute the very most to your long-term future. Some of these tasks may be planning, organizing, studying, researching your customers, and setting priorities before you begin. Then there are tasks that are urgent but not important, such as a ringing telephone or a coworker who wants to chat. Because these activities take place during the workday, it's easy to confuse them with real work. The difference, however, is that they produce no results. No matter how many urgent but unimportant activities you engage in, you contribute nothing to your work or to your company. The fourth category of tasks is those that are neither urgent nor important, like reading the newspaper at work or going for a long lunch. These activities are positively harmful to your career because they consume time that you could be using to get the results for which you are paid and upon which your future depends. The most important word in determining the value of a particular task or activity is the word consequences. A task that is valuable and important is a task that has serious consequences for completion or non-completion. The greater the possible consequences of a task or activity, the more important it is. A task for which there are few, if any, consequences is by definition not particularly important. Your aim in personal management, therefore, is to spend more time doing more of those things that can have the greatest possible consequences on your life and work. Once you've prepared a list of tasks for the coming day, review your list and apply the 80-20 rule before you begin. The 80-20 rule says that 20% of your activities will account for 80% of the value of all of your activities. If you have a list of 10 items to complete, 2 of those items will be more valuable than all other 8 items put together. 2 of the 10 tasks will have greater potential consequences for completion than the other 80%. Sometimes it will even be the 90-10 rule that applies. Often one task on a list of 10 items that you have to do during the day will contain more value than everything else put together. This task, unfortunately, is usually the task that you will procrastinate on most readily. Once you've identified your top 20% of tasks, you can then practice creative procrastination on the others. Since you cannot do everything, you will have to procrastinate on something. The only question is, which of your tasks are you going to procrastinate on? And the answer is simple. Procrastinate on the 80% of tasks that contribute very little to your desired goals and results. Focus your time and attention on completing those 1 or 2 jobs that can make the most difference. Focus your attention on those tasks that can have the greatest possible consequences for successful completion. Another method of setting priorities is the ABCDE method. This method requires that you review your list of tasks before you begin and put an A, B, C, D, or E next to each one. The very act of performing this exercise and thinking through your tasks before you start work will dramatically increase your efficiency and effectiveness once you begin working. An A task is something that is very important. It has serious consequences for completion or non-completion. If you do it or don't do it, it can have a major impact on your results and your success. You should always do your A tasks before anything else. If you have more than one A task, you organize them by priority, as in A1, A2, A3, and so on. Once you've completed this exercise, you then identify your A1 task and focus all of your energies on starting and completing this job before you do anything else. A B task is something that you should do. It has mild consequences for completion or non-completion. For example, calling a friend, going for lunch with one of your coworkers, or checking your email would be a B task. If you do it or don't do it, it may cause some inconvenience, but the consequences for your life are minor. A C task is a task that would be nice to do, but it will have no consequences at all. Having another cup of coffee, chatting with a coworker, reading the paper, or going shopping during the day are all C tasks. Whether you do them or not, they will have no consequences in your life or work at all. The rule is this: never do a B task when there is an A task left undone. Never do a C task when you have a B task left undone. Keep focused on your A tasks throughout the day. A D task is something that you delegate. The rule is to delegate everything that you possibly can so that you have more time to spend on your A tasks. And an E task is something that you eliminate altogether. The rule is that you can only get control of your time to the degree to which you stop doing things of low value. Eliminate everything you possibly can. You are always free to choose. It is in this hour-by-hour and minute-by-minute choosing of what you will do and simultaneously what you will not do that your entire life is made. The law of the excluded alternative says that doing one thing means not doing something else. Whenever you begin on a task of any kind, you are consciously or unconsciously deciding not to do any other task that you could do at that moment. Your ability to choose wisely in terms of what you do first, what you do second, and what you do not at all determines your entire life. Successful, highly paid people are usually no more intelligent or skilled than unsuccessful, lowly paid people. The major difference between them is that successful people are always working on tasks of high value. Unsuccessful people are always killing time on tasks of low value. And you are always free to choose. You're always free to choose what you do more of and what you do less of. Your choices ultimately determine everything that happens to you. Single handling is one of the most powerful time and personal management techniques of all. What this means is that once you have selected your A1 task, you start on that task and you work on it with single-minded concentration until it's 100% complete. You discipline yourself to concentrate without diversion or distraction. If you find yourself getting distracted or you feel tempted to take a break or procrastinate, you motivate yourself by continually repeating, back to work, back to work, back to work. You then renew your efforts to push the task through to completion. Thomas Edison once wrote, "My success is due more to my ability to work continuously on one thing without stopping than to any other single quality." You should practice this principle as well. Plan your day in advance and create 30, 60, and 90-minute chunks of uninterrupted work time. These are time blocks when you can work without interruption or pause on your most important tasks. These chunks are essential for the accomplishment of any large, important, multitask job. One way to create long periods of work time is to rise early and work nonstop without interruption on a major task, project, or proposal. Sometimes you can create chunks of time in the evenings or on the weekends. But the fact is, all important jobs, those with serious potential consequences, require large chunks of single-minded, concentrated time and energy. Earl Nightingale once said, "Every great accomplishment of mankind has been preceded by an extended period, often over many years, of concentrated effort." Each day, before you begin and as you go through the day, there are 5 questions that you need to ask and answer over and over again. The first of these questions is, why am I on the payroll? What exactly have you been hired to accomplish? If you were being questioned by your boss and your boss were to ask you, why do we pay you money around here? What would be your answer? The fact is that you have been hired to achieve specific results that have economic value to your organization. And of all your results, 20% of what you do contributes 80% of your value. You must be crystal clear about exactly why you are on the payroll, and then focus your time and attention all day long on doing exactly those tasks that make the greatest difference to your business or organization. The second question that you should ask yourself all day long is, what are my highest value activities? These are the activities that represent the highest and best use of your talents, skills, experience, and abilities as they relate to your company, career, and organization. What are they? If you're not absolutely sure of the answers, go and ask your boss what he or she thinks your highest value activities might be. Whatever the answer, dedicate yourself to working on these specific tasks all day long. The third question you should ask all day long is, what are my key result areas? As we mentioned earlier, your key result areas are those tasks that absolutely, positively must be completed in an excellent fashion if you are to achieve the ultimate results of your job. They largely determine your success or failure at work. You should clearly identify each of these tasks and then focus on not only performing at your best in each one of them, but also at becoming better in each key result area each day. Remember, your weakest key skill sets the height at which you can use all your other skills. Don't allow yourself to be held back because of a weakness in one area, especially when you can learn anything you need to learn to excel in that particular area. The fourth question you should ask yourself throughout the day is this: what can I and only I do that, if done well, will make a real difference to my company? This is one of the best questions of all for keeping yourself focused and on track. What is it that you and only you can do that can make the greatest difference in your career? Again, if you're not sure of the answer, go and ask your boss. Sometimes he or she will have not thought this through before you bring him or her the question. Sometimes he or she will not have thought about it at all. But once both of you are in agreement on the 1 or 2 things that you can do that will make more of a difference than anything else, you should focus all of your energies on performing those particular tasks quickly and well. This will do more to help you in your career than any other single decision you can make. The fifth question, and perhaps the best question in all of time management, is this: what is the most valuable use of my time right now? All techniques and methods of goal setting, personal planning, and time management are aimed at helping you to accurately answer this question every minute of every day. What is the most valuable use of your time right now? When you discipline yourself to ask and answer this question repeatedly, and you are sure that whatever you're doing is the answer to this question, you will start to accomplish 2 and 3 times as much as the people around you. You will become more and more productive. You will plow through more work of higher value and accomplish greater results than anyone around you. Discipline yourself to keep working on the most valuable use of your time, whatever it may be at the moment, and your success is guaranteed. In the final analysis, The key to high productivity and performance is this: dedicate yourself to getting better and better at the few things that you do that account for most of your results. Simultaneously, learn to delegate, outsource, and eliminate all those tasks and activities that contribute very little to your results and rewards. As Goethe said, the things that matter most must never be at the mercy of the things that matter least. Perhaps the best single word in time management is the word no. Just say no to any demand on your time that is not the most valuable use of your time at the moment. The good news is that time management is a skill and a discipline that you can learn with practice. One rule for success is this: develop good habits and make them your masters. You can become excellent at time management with daily practice. Make a list of your tasks every day before you begin. Organize your list by priority, separating the urgent from the important and using the 80-20 rule, or the ABCDE method. Choose your most important task and begin working immediately on that task. Discipline yourself to concentrate single-mindedly on that one task or activity until it is 100% complete. Each time you complete an important task, you'll experience a burst of elation, enthusiasm, and heightened self-esteem. You'll feel energized and stronger. You'll feel happier and more in control of your life. You will feel on top of your work. You will feel even more motivated to start in on and complete your next major task. Whenever you find yourself slowing down or experiencing the urge to procrastinate or delay, repeat to yourself, "Do it now, do it now, do it now." Develop a sense of urgency. Create a bias for action. Get started, get going, and work fast. Discipline yourself to select your most important task and then launch into it immediately and stay with it until it's done. These time management practices are the keys to peak performance in every part of your life. Now, here are 3 things you can do immediately to put these ideas into action. First, make a list of everything you would like to be, do, or have in the months and years ahead. Analyze your list and select those items that can have the greatest possible consequences on your life. Second, make a list of everything you have to do for the coming day. Let your subconscious mind work on your list while you sleep. And third, begin immediately on your most important task and then discipline yourself to concentrate single-mindedly on this one task until it is 100% complete. Sometimes I ask my audiences, how many people here would like to double their incomes? Not surprisingly, everyone raises his or her hand. I then go on to say, well, I have good news for you. Everybody here is going to double their income, guaranteed, if you live long enough. If your income increases at the rate of 3 to 4% per year, the average annual cost of living increase, you will double your income in about 20 years. But that is a long time to wait. So the real question is not about doubling your income. The real question is, how fast can you do it? There are many techniques that can help you to achieve your personal and financial goals faster. In this session, I want to share with you a special method that has taken more people from rags to riches than any other single method ever discovered. It is simple, fast, effective, and guaranteed to work if you will practice it. Earlier I said, you become what you think about most of the time. This is the great truth that underlies all religion, all philosophy, all psychology, and all of success. As a teacher of mine, John Boyle, once said, whatever you can hold in your mind on a continuing basis, you can have. This is the key. Many people today talk about the importance of positive thinking. Positive thinking is important, but it is not enough. Left undirected and uncontrolled, positive thinking can quickly degenerate into positive wishing and positive hoping. Instead of serving as an energy force for inspiration and higher achievement, Positive thinking can become little more than a generally cheerful attitude toward life and toward whatever happens to you, positive or negative. To be focused and effective in goal attainment, positive thinking must translate into positive knowing. You must absolutely know and believe in the depths of your being that you are going to be successful at achieving a particular goal. You must proceed completely without doubt. You must be so resolute and determined, so convinced of your ultimate success that nothing can stop you. This is positive knowing. Everything that you do to program your subconscious mind with this unshakable conviction of success will help you to achieve your goals faster. This method that I'm going to share with you can actually multiply your talents and abilities and greatly increase the speed at which you move from wherever you are to wherever you want to go. One of the important mental laws is whatever is impressed is expressed. Whatever you impress deeply into your subconscious mind will eventually be expressed in your external world. Your aim in mental programming is to impress your goals deeply into your subconscious mind so that they lock in and take on a power of their own. This method helps you to do that. For many years, I worked away at my goals, writing them down once or twice a year and then reviewing them whenever I got a chance. Even this was enough to make an incredible difference in my life. Often, I would write down a list of goals for myself in January for the coming year. In December of that year, I would review my list and find that most of the goals had been accomplished, including some of the biggest and most unbelievable goals on the list. I then learned the technique that changed my life. I discovered that if it is powerful for you to write down your goals once a year, it is even more powerful for you to write down your goals more often. Some authors suggest that you write down and review your goals once a month, others once a week. What I learned was the power of writing and rewriting your goals every single day. Here's the technique. Get a spiral notebook that you keep with you at all times. Each day, open up your notebook and write down a list of your 10 to 15 most important goals without referring to your previous list. Do this every day, day after day, and as you do this, several remarkable things will happen. The first day you write down your list of goals, you will have to give it some thought and reflection. Most people have never made a list of their 10 top goals in their entire lives. The second day you write out your list without reference to your previous list, it will be a bit easier. However, your 10 to 15 goals will change, both in description and order of priority. Sometimes a goal that you wrote one day will not appear the next day. It may even be forgotten and never reappear again, or it may reappear later at a more appropriate time. Each day that you write down your 10 to 15 goals, your definitions will become clearer and sharper. You will eventually find yourself writing down the same words every day. Your order of priority will also change as your life changes around you, but over time, after about 30 days, you will find yourself writing and rewriting the same goals every day. At about this time, something remarkable will happen in your life. It will take off. You will feel like a passenger in a jet hurtling down the runway. Your work and personal life will begin to improve dramatically. Your mind will sparkle with ideas and insights. You will start to attract people and resources into your life to help you to achieve your goals. You will start to make progress at a rapid rate, sometimes so fast that it will be a little scary. Everything will begin to change in a very positive way. Over the years, I've spoken in 23 countries and addressed more than 2 million people. I've shared this 10-goal exercise with hundreds of thousands of seminar participants. The exercise that I give them is a little simpler than the exercise I am giving you here. Here it is. As I said earlier, I ask my audience members to make a list of 10 goals that they want to accomplish in the coming year. I tell them to put the list away for 12 months and then open it up. When they open up the list after a year, it will be as though a magic trick has been performed. In almost every case, 8 of their 10 goals will have been accomplished, sometimes in the most remarkable ways. I've given this exercise all over the world to people in every language and culture. In virtually every case, when I return to their cities and countries, people line up to talk to me, like in a wedding receiving line, and tell me story after story about how their lives have changed after writing down their 10 goals a year or more ago. In the exercise we are discussing in this session, you will learn to get results that are far greater and far faster than those enjoyed by people who write down their goals only one time. Your results will double and triple and increase 5 and 10 times as you use the same power of goal setting we have discussed earlier, but you will now be writing your goals down every day. Here are some special rules that you must follow to get the most out of this exercise. First, you must use the 3P formula. Your goals must be written and described in the positive, present, and personal tenses. Your subconscious mind is only activated by affirmative statements phrased in the present tense. You therefore write down your goals as though you have already accomplished them. Instead of saying, I will earn $50,000 in the next 12 months, you would say, I earn $50,000 per year. Your goals must be stated positively as well. Instead of saying, I will quit smoking or I will lose a certain number of pounds of weight, you would instead say, I am a non-smoker, or I weigh X number of pounds. Your command must be positive because your subconscious mind cannot process a negative command. It is only receptive to a positive, present tense statement. The third P stands for personal. From now on and for the rest of your life, you write out every goal beginning with the word I, followed by a verb of some kind. You are the only person in the universe who can use the word I in relation to yourself. When your subconscious mind receives a command that begins with the word I, it is as though the factory floor receives a production order from the head office. It goes to work immediately to bring that goal into your reality. For example, you would not say, my goal is to earn $50,000 per year. You would instead say, I earn $50,000 per year. Begin each of your goals with phrases such as, I earn, I weigh, I achieve, I win, I drive such and such a car, I live in such and such a home, I climb such and such a mountain, and so on. To add power to your daily written goals, put a deadline at the end of each goal. For example, you might write, I earn an average of $5,000 per month by December 31st, followed by a particular year. As we discussed in an earlier chapter, your mind loves deadlines and thrives on a forcing system. Even if you do not know how the goal is going to be achieved, always give yourself a firm deadline. Remember, you can always change the deadline with new information. But be sure that you have a deadline, like an exclamation point, after every goal. This exercise of writing out your 10 goals every single day is a test. The test is to determine how badly you really want to achieve these goals. Often, you will write out a goal and then forget to write it down again. This simply means that you either don't really want to achieve that goal as much as something else, or you don't really believe that that goal is achievable for you. However, the more you can discipline yourself to write and rewrite your goals each day, the clearer you will become about what you really want, and the more convinced you will become that it is possible for you. When you begin writing your goals, you may have no idea how they will be accomplished. But this is not important. All that matters is that you write and rewrite them every day in complete faith, knowing that every single time you write them down, you are impressing them deeper and deeper into your subconscious mind. At a certain point, you will begin to believe with absolute conviction that your goal is achievable. Once your subconscious mind accepts your goals as commands from your conscious mind, it will start to make all your words and actions fit a pattern consistent with those goals. Your subconscious mind will start attracting into your life people and circumstances that can help you to achieve your goal. Your subconscious mind works 24 hours a day like a massive computer that is never turned off to help bring your goals into reality. Almost without your doing anything, your goals will begin to materialize in your life, sometimes in the most remarkable and unexpected ways. Whenever you write down a new goal of any kind, you may be skeptical and doubtful about the likelihood of accomplishing it. You may have the idea in your conscious mind, but you will not have yet developed the total belief and conviction that it is possible for you. This is normal and natural. Don't let it stop you from using this method every day. All that is required to make this method work, as I said, is for you to get a spiral notebook and then to discipline yourself each day to write down your 10 goals, more or less, in the present, positive, personal tense. That's all you need. In a week, a month, or a year, you will look around you and see that your whole life will have transformed in the most remarkable ways. Even if you're skeptical about this method, it only requires about 5 minutes per day to try it out for yourself. The good news is that I have never met a person in more than 20 years who has ever told me that this method doesn't work. It's quite the opposite, in fact. I get letters, phone calls, emails, and personal testimonials almost every day from people all over the country and all over the world whose lives have been transformed so dramatically with this method as to be beyond belief. You can multiply the effectiveness of this method with a couple of additional techniques. First, after you have written down your goal in the positive personal present tense, write down at least 3 actions that you could take immediately to achieve that goal, also in the present positive personal tense. For example, your goal could be to earn a certain amount of money. You could write, I earn $50,000 over the next 12 months. You could then write immediately underneath, 1. I plan every day in advance. 2. I start in immediately on my most important tasks. 3. I concentrate single-mindedly on my most important task until it is complete. Whatever your goal, you can easily think of 3 action steps that you can take immediately to achieve that goal. When you write down the action steps, you program them into your subconscious mind along with the goal. At a certain point, you will find yourself actually taking the steps that you wrote down, sometimes without even thinking about it. And each step you take will move you more rapidly towards your ultimate objective. Another way that you can increase the effectiveness of daily goal setting is by transferring your goals to 3x5 index cards. Write 1 goal on each card in large letters. Carry these cards with you at all times. Whenever you have a few moments, take out your index cards and review your goals one by one. Each of these goals should be written as a personal, positive, present tense affirmation. Someone once said, I would rather a morning without breakfast than a morning without affirmations. Each time you use these cards, take a few moments, breathe deeply, and relax, and then review each of your goals one at a time. As you read the goal to yourself, imagine the goal as though it were already a reality. Actually see yourself at the goal, enjoying the goal, feeling the pleasure of having achieved the goal. Alternately, as you read your index cards, you can imagine specific steps that you can take immediately to achieve that goal. You should actually imagine yourself taking those steps, then relax and go on to the next goal. Ideally, you should review your goals on index cards twice per day. Read them once in the morning before you start off and once in the evening before you go to bed. You can also carry them around with you and review them during the day, whenever you have a few spare moments. There are 2 times of the day that are ideal for writing and rewriting your goals, and for reading and reviewing your index cards. These are the last thing in the evening before you go to bed, and the first thing in the morning before you start off. When you rewrite and review your goals in the evening, you program them into your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind then has an opportunity to work on your goals all night long while you're sleeping. You will often arise with wonderful ideas for things to do or people to call to help you achieve your goals. When you rewrite and review your goals in the morning before you start off, you set yourself up for positive thinking and positive acting all day long. Just as physical exercise in the morning warms up your physical body and muscles, reviewing your goals in the morning warms up your mind and prepares you to be at your very best throughout the day. The sum total result of rewriting and reviewing your goals each day, morning and evening, is that you will impress them ever more deeply into your subconscious mind. You will gradually move from positive thinking to positive knowing. You will develop a deep, down unshakable conviction that your goals are attainable and that it is only a matter of time before you achieve them. And you will be right. Now, here are 3 things you can do immediately to put these ideas into action. First, get yourself a spiral notebook this very day and write down 10 to 15 goals that you would like to achieve in the foreseeable future. Second, create a set of 3x5 index cards with your goals written out in the positive, personal, present tense to carry with you wherever you go. And third, think of 3 things you could do to achieve each of your goals. Always think in terms of specific actions you can take. You possess and have available to you virtually unlimited mental powers. The average person is unaware of these powers and fails to use them for goal attainment. That is why his or her results are only average. When you begin to tap into and unleash the power of your subconscious and superconscious minds, you will often achieve more in a year or 2 than the average person achieves in a lifetime. You will start moving more rapidly toward your goals than you can currently imagine. Your ability to visualize is perhaps the most powerful faculty that you possess. All improvement in your life begins with an improvement in your mental pictures. You are where you are and what you are today largely because of the mental pictures that you hold in your conscious mind at the present time. As you change your mental pictures on the inside, your world on the outside will begin to change to correspond to those pictures. Visualization activates the law of attraction, which draws into your life the people, circumstances, and resources that you need to achieve your goal. Visualization activates the law of correspondence, which says, as within, so without. As you change your mental pictures on the inside, your world on the outside, like a mirror, begins to change. Just as you become what you think about most of the time, you become what you visualize most of the time as well. Wayne Dyer says, you will see it when you believe it. Jim Cathcart says, the person you see is the person you will be. Dennis Waitley says that your mental images are your previews of your life's coming attractions. Albert Einstein said, imagination is more important than facts. Napoleon Bonaparte said, imagination rules the world. And of course, Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. The most common characteristic of leaders at all levels throughout the ages is that leaders have vision. This means that they can visualize and imagine an ideal future well in advance of it becoming a reality. Just as Walt Disney clearly saw a happy, clean, family-oriented amusement park many years before Disneyland was built, everything worthwhile in your life begins with a mental picture of some kind as well. As it happens, you are always visualizing something one way or another. Every time you think of something or someone, remember a past event, imagine an upcoming event, or even daydream while you're sitting or driving along, you are visualizing. It's essential that you learn to manage and control this visualizing capability of your mind and focus it like a laser beam in the direction of achieving the goals that are most important to you. Successful people are those who visualize the kind of success they want to enjoy in advance. Prior to every new experience, the successful person visualizes previous success experiences that are similar to the upcoming event. A successful salesperson will visualize and remember previous successful sales presentations. A successful trial lawyer will visualize and remember his performance in court during a previous successful trial. A successful doctor or surgeon will visualize and remember his or her successful treatment of a patient in the past. Unsuccessful people, on the other hand, also use visualization, but to their detriment. Unsuccessful people prior to a new event recall, reflect upon, and visualize their previous failure experiences. They think about the last time they failed or did poorly in this area, and they imagine failing again. As a result, when they go into the new experience, their subconscious minds have been pre-programmed for failure rather than for success. You always perform on the outside consistent with your self-image on the inside. Your self-image is made up of the mental pictures that you feed into your mind prior to any event. And the good news is that you have complete control over your mental pictures for good or for ill. You can choose to feed your mind with positive, exciting success images, or you can, by default, end up allowing yourself to be preoccupied by failure images. The choice is up to you. Almost everything that you have achieved in life or failed to achieve is the result of the use or misuse of visualization. If you look back, you will find that almost everything you visualized positively eventually came true for you. You visualized completing school, and you did it. You visualized getting your first car, and you got it. You visualized your first romance or relationship, and you met the right person. You visualized taking a trip, getting a job, finding an apartment, or purchasing certain clothes, and they all came true for you. You have been using the power of visualization continuously throughout your life. But the problem is that most people use visualization in a random and haphazard way, sometimes to help themselves and sometimes to hurt themselves. Your goal should be to take complete control of the visualization process and be sure that your mind and mental images are focused continually on the things that you want to have and the person that you want to be. George Washington, the first president of the United States, and considered by most historians to be the indispensable man at the founding of the American Republic, started his life in humble circumstances. He was born in a small house and raised with few advantages. But he was ambitious, and at an early age he decided that he had to mold and shape his character and personality so that he could become the kind of person who would be accepted and successful in society. The guiding influence of his young life became a book with 130 rules for manners and deportment. He read this book over and over again and eventually committed it to memory. Thereafter, he practiced the very best behaviors of courtesy and manners in his every interaction with other people. By the time he became a powerful figure in the American Revolution, he was described as one of the most courtly and gentlemanly men in the American colonies. Benjamin Franklin, America's first millionaire, a founding father and a remarkable statesman, diplomat, and inventor, started as a penniless boy in Philadelphia, apprenticed to a small printing company. He was outspoken and argumentative, and often made enemies who then contrived to hurt his chances and hold him back. At a certain point in his life, as Benjamin Franklin reveals in his autobiography, he realized that his personality was in great danger of hurting his chances for long-term success in early American society. He therefore decided to develop within himself a series of key virtues, such as sincerity, humility, temperance, discipline, and honesty, that he felt he would have to possess if he wanted to achieve his full potential. For many years, week after week, both Washington and Franklin practiced visualization on themselves. They thought of a characteristic or quality that they wanted to embody. They visualized and imagined themselves as possessing that quality. In every interaction with other people, they referred to this inner mirror to see how they should behave, and then carried themselves in a manner consistent with that ideal inner picture. Over time, these mental images became so deeply impressed on their subconscious minds that the mannerisms and the person became one. Piero Ferrucci, in his book The Power to Be, explains how you can develop any quality you desire by dwelling upon that quality continually and imagining that you have it already. Read about the quality, learn about the quality, and especially imagine yourself practicing that quality whenever it is needed. Aristotle wrote that the very best way to develop a virtue, if you currently lack that virtue, is to imagine and to behave in every respect as though you already had the virtue, whenever that virtue is called for. See and think about yourself as you can be, not just as you might be today. gradually you become that new person. In essence, you control the molding and shaping of your own personality and character by the mental images that you dwell upon hour by hour and minute by minute.